Hi.
We're back. Nicole and Lisa here to talk about Superman and Lois, Season 2, Episode 2, called The Ties That Bind. Is that right? So yeah, we're gonna come off and get right into it here. So we got Paul gonna pull up our first slide. So here we go. We have Lois, who is getting attacked for some sort of something that she wrote a few years ago, which would have been before she even was part of this newspaper, and has something to do with a cult that her sister got involved in, and she almost died because she almost killed herself over it. And they're claiming that the story is false and that she just pressured people into giving their story. Yeah, well, this kind of came out of nowhere. What do you think about this story, Lisa?
Well, it's not the first one. It's out of sequence, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, to me, it was. I know it's different multiverse and everything, but the Lucy character in Supergirl was a strong, independent woman, and I don't think she'd quite get into sort of like being duped by a sex cult. But things change in the. We're in a different universe now, so it's interesting. Yeah.
So you know what I thought was interesting about this whole thing?
NX 1VM. You're not going to mention
given what happened with Allison Mack in Smallville. Yeah. I just felt like it was total call out to that, and I don't know if it was meant to be, but the fact that they used a sex cult, I don't know, just it got that.
I just thought it was pretty weird from the writers to sort of like mention this storyline about a self-help group that then turns into it's quite bad.
Exactly the one that Allison was in. And a couple of the other actors, before they realized what was going on, they went to a few meetings and they're like, something's not quite right here. So it's kind of funny. I was just and I know that they're thinking about Smallville, and actually if you go back to the pilot, I was on Tumblr today and something that we hadn't picked up on, but there's a blackboard, which I should have brought up the picture. It actually says call T. Welling on it. That's right next to Jordan's character in the pilot. So and then it said something about there was a call from Dr. Reed. So I think it is in the writer's minds, and that was interesting. It definitely didn't seem to have anything to do with anything else going on right now either.
It's their introduction to when Lucy joins on the next few episodes.
Yeah, obviously Lucy is coming on, so that'll be an interesting another character going in the house. We'll see. All right, so I'll bring up the next slide. Yeah, these aren't necessarily in order of when what aired. We're just kind of going a sequence here. So here we have the story of we get a little bit more into what was going on behind Lana helping out this Daniel to try and be mayor. And then I remembered, that mayor really screwed them over last season, so they really want to get back at him, and he's kind of a corrupt guy. And so she's just happy to get anyone in place, and now it makes sense why that guy seemed so incompetent and Lana seemed to be running the show, because look, now Lana's going to be running for mayor, which as soon as I saw that he was dropping out, I said, I guess Lana's running for mayor. So I
knew straight away. It was like, Kyle got the backing from the Firehouse guys, but she'd already put in the application. Yeah,
Oh
she
yeah.
knew. Yeah, but the whole character of is it George Dean? It was like, he was bad, and he just like blamed everything on the Cushings. Yeah, and then got all the credit from when they got the money back from Morgan Edge's company.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
he
going to
took
be
the
an
credit for
interesting
that.
campaign,
Hmm.
and it's nice to see Lana and Kyle on the same page.
Yeah.
All right, now on to this one. Oh, Jordan and Sarah are not my favorite. And look at Lisa called it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I just had the vibe that something went on at camp. Yeah.
Yeah, we knew something went on at camp, but Lisa's the
Yeah.
one that said, I bet you it was a girl. And I was like, yes, you're probably right. And you're right. It was a girl. So
She kissed a girl and she liked it.
yeah. I already wasn't a big fan of this ship, and now I'm really not interested in it at all. And now I feel like they're bringing in a love triangle. As soon as Natalie came in, and they were showing the chemistry between Natalie and Sarah,
Mm-hmm.
and then them bonding over the car, and yep, it's gonna be they're gonna put a love triangle between Jordan, Sarah, and Natalie, and I'm not here for that.
Yeah, I think the Jordan and Sarah getting together was all, in the emotions of everything that was going on in the last series, that was happening in Smallville. And there was that sort of like, energy there of, oh, things are happening. And then now that's gone, it's kind of like, well, what they got together? Where's the chemistry? And I feel real sorry for Jordan when he's looking at the pictures on his phone and scrolling through. He's
I'd feel more bad for Jordan if I liked him more. That's my problem. I don't know. The kid just hasn't done anything yet to make me feel like, oh, he's just a kid. I don't know. He's not really great. He's okay. But now he's going to be really insecure. And it kind of reminded me of Friends when after Ross's wife, ended up sleeping with another woman. And then the next girlfriend, when she started getting close to another girl, he's like, oh no, is she gonna also, is this gonna happen to me again? And now he's gonna be completely insecure about her spending time with other girls now that he knows that. So that's what's gonna bring on, there's definitely a jealousy coming on there.
And
I feel
plus,
bad
if
for
it's
him,
Natalie as well, that's even worse because Natalie's kind of like his half sister,
like a sister,
in a different world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's,
They must share some DNA. I mean, from a DNA perspective, they really are half siblings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even though they're from another world.
I found it a bit weird how Kyle was talking to Sarah about, you're the alpha in the relationship. Yeah, and like as though Jordan's not good enough for you. Like, that was a bit weird as well.
Well, I can kind of see that. Jordan's very insecure. That's why that's why I can see why he said that.
Yeah. And if he had a girlfriend who got him, maybe, he'd lose those insecurities. I just hope it's not going to have bad effects, later on down the line with his powers developing.
All right. Enough with the teenage drama. Let's move on. All right. Finally, we get. And I love the acknowledgement from Lois. Why didn't you tell me you were having problems?
Mm-hmm.
Although we found out, I guess it was just yesterday. The timeline is this is the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. Not a lot of time has passed. But yeah, I love that comes out and that's acknowledged. And it's interesting that when he's having this moment and he's kind of rocking back and forth, he's shaking the whole house.
Yeah, it's almost like a mini tremor in the house itself. Yeah.
Like, whoa, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
And I also thought it was interesting that he that they had like doctors to take care of him, like
Mm-hmm.
specialized that were specializing Kryptonian. I don't know.
Kryptonians on the payroll, yeah.
I
It's not
don't
like they
know.
can
Like
do much diagnostics with them.
I don't know what they could really do. They can't penetrate his skin. I mean,
Yeah.
unless they have a red light they could use, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But wow, did that surprise me when I saw Tao come back. I thought he was gone because we hadn't seen what happened to him at the end of last season.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought
It's
that he
like,
was sacrificing himself to be all those Kryptonians. I didn't know that they got out of him, or maybe I'd forgotten. But I was completely caught me by surprise to see him. And talk about let's put the guy in solitary confinement. You know, this is just someone that's already psycho. Probably not a good idea. I
it looks as
mean,
the whole prison cell's on top of a mountain, because there's a helipad there. It's probably dug inside of a mountain,
I
to
hope
keep
they
him
have some sort of
confined.
socialized visits for him, even if they're not like can't get into the cage. Because
Well, it
otherwise,
looked
it's just
like he
going to
had
make
a
him more
decent
evil.
library behind him to keep him
He
occupied.
did. I mean,
Yeah.
we can look at that. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Yeah, he had a library, but yeah, there's no people though. He needs something. A phone
I
call. I
wonder,
don't
I
know.
wonder if he plays Injustice video game as well.
Is he gonna go in the meta? Oh, okay. So we'll move on to the next one. Yeah, so this is interesting. So the X Kryptonite is still around. And so it seems like the people that they've souped up, they must be using X Kryptonite. And now it's a drug that apparently is on the black market, which is really not good.
Yeah, this had whole vibes of the Witness episode in Smallville, where
Yeah.
the baseball player, they're all on the kryptonite through the gas, inhaling it, yeah,
Yeah.
and getting super strong. So
Yes.
there's big
So
flashback there.
is it just getting I'm not really sure what powers that these characters have. They haven't really made it clear if it's just strength or do they also have speed. I don't know if they have all of the Kryptonians' powers or not. It seems like they have the potential, which
Well,
is
there's no
very
eradicator
dangerous.
involved in this, so probably
Yeah.
they don't have all of the the Kryptonians. Perhaps they just have the strength.
I hope that they clarify that. Yeah, and then we also what kind of weaves into this is that someone from the football team apparently is juicing up. And what happened with Jonathan there when he had what a 10-pound weight? Ooh, God, they couldn't give him
I
anything
can
more
lift
than
heavier
that.
than that. It's like
I'm like, I could do that. Really?
Yeah, my
Come
dumbbells are
on,
bigger than that.
Jonathan. I mean, they really made him look incredibly weak.
Wimpish, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Totally. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, that other guy looked big. It looked like he could probably, lift, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So apparently he said he's on drugs. It's obvious it's ex kryptonite.
Yeah. He
With
thinks
all the
it's
things.
steroids. It could be ex-kryptonite.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. But it's interesting that he can only lift 300 pounds on the ex kryptonite. So I wonder if it's the amount that you're taking. Like the other guy, he had to consistently inhale it. So maybe the level of strength you get depends on the purification and how much you have. It's interesting, but we don't need a lot of superpower people. It's very dangerous. All right.
And we also
Then
got to see Tag Harris come back in that
yes,
scene as well.
yes. Which I'd forgotten until he mentioned that it was Tag, and I said, "Oh yeah, that was Tag." So they have him on this. So I guess that's what they're putting the superpower people on this team. Now I wonder what they do with the ones that they can't trust, or if they have a facility like Bell Reed or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So now we have the family reunion, which we knew was coming at the end of season 1 because he had his mother's crystal, and his the Fortress of Solitude up in Antarctica was gone. So we were going to have to use towels. And it's nice to see that come in. And we have the scene with Clark and Jordan where Jordan really wants to help out and he gets to go on this mission. They think that Tao has no powers. And they get to meet Clark's mom. I think that's the first time we see. Is that the first time Clark's met Lara in this universe? I think so, right?
Yes, and it's a different version of Lara that was that they brought back with the Eradicator when she was in Lana.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. So she's gonna do some scans on him, and it's this. We kind of learn that Tao is not birthed by her, but just shares their DNA. So he's a test tube baby.
Which links in to how Kal-El was conceived in the Man of Steel film. Yeah, he was naturally birthed, whereas everyone else is genetically engineered. So that is something that is kind of like probably canon now. It's all done through genetic engineering. That they've advanced.
Yeah. Advanced.
Advanced.
Okay. I don't know about advanced in the right way, but just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Should. No, exactly.
So of course we all knew that he was gonna
break out of his cuffs and
of course.
Yeah,
we knew that was coming, right? I mean, as soon as Jordan was coming along, that was obvious. And of course, as soon as Clark goes down another one of his episodes, he takes advantage.
Then we get to see Uncle Jerkface.
Yes, and Jordan's a little bit more powerful. So again, this all goes back to really bothers me because Jor-El said he'll never be as strong as you, and he's obviously getting stronger. I don't know why. I'm disappointed that we're not seeing more training. Why aren't we seeing Jordan do small stuff? Help out.
Yeah, or even learn combat skills. A bit of martial arts, bit of boxing.
The only times we see him use,
the
only time we see him use his special abilities is for his own selfish reasons or to help
lighting
his
candles.
father. Yeah, the lighting candles or helping his father. I don't know. I want to see more growth of Jordan's character so that I can care more about him. But his mom still believes that he can turn around. So of course that puts hope into Clark too.
Yeah.
And he does stop him. So that's good. And it puts him back into his kryptonite, into his red sun jail again. And he won't be let out anytime soon. But I'm sure he will get out. That's going to happen. They're going to need him for something, or someone else will let him out. We'll see what happens. So we have some scenes between Henry and Lois, which I think is really interesting dynamic because he kind of still feels like he's in love with her, even though it's not the same person, which is understandable.
Yeah, there was a family photograph, wasn't there, that he was taking out of the box and putting in their room. Yeah. That'd be a bit weird if anyone else kind of like saw that picture and it's like, oh, that looks a bit close, with Lois and
yeah. And the daughter seemed a little, I don't know. She wasn't very thankful for that breakfast she cooked.
Oh yeah. I thought,
I'm vegan. I don't really like breakfast, How about, thank you for cooking all this, but I'm just not hungry, but I wish I was.
I had a feeling that Natalie was going to come out with something like, oh, well, actually, I'm vegan. Yeah. It just goes to show, though, I don't think Lois does that much cooking. Yeah. When
they were all, the rest of the Ken family was excited about all the food.
Yeah, and the comment about the eggs, it's like, oh, they has to come, yeah.
So then they go down to do the seismology in the mine, and they have another moment in the RV. And I mean, I hope there's no love triangle there. They're just kind of teasing us, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's certainly an interesting dynamic. I'm sure he's going to end up putting a suit on. He says he's retired, but we know that's not going to pass. But then we'll go lead right into. Oh, I spelled mystery wrong, but so yeah, we see a little bit more of this creature and attacks the miners there, and
perhaps it's misery at the mines.
yeah,
it's for them poor miners who get stuck in the caving.
And we have some investigating going on, trying to figure out what's going on in these mines. This new character pops in. Of course, she definitely seems up to no good. And Lois sees kind of through it.
Yeah, Dr. Falconer, that is an actual character in the DC comics who ends up becoming Rampage. So does get affected, I think, with ex-kryptonite and ends up with powers herself. So maybe that's might end up playing out in this season.
So it sounded like to me that they did something to open a portal because they expected something to come through, and she said it's more powerful than we had hoped.
Yeah.
And she wasn't that upset about those people being killed.
No.
So you can see how her feelings on that are. Of course, they're claiming to extract the ex-kryptonite, so that way other people don't take advantage. But, once it's extracted, it's still in somebody's hands, so that'll never be not a problem. I mean, really, they should have Clark take it away and destroy it, but
yeah,
it's not going to happen there.
Or bury it in a vault somewhere.
No, it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a vault. I mean,
because as it says, everyone's trying to get powers. Yeah. And all the wrong people trying to get powers to become super villains.
Whatever they're doing to open this interdimensional portal seems to be affecting Clark. The question is why? Is it only affecting him? And is it connected to, is that Doomsday? And it's because he has some connection to Doomsday? I'm not sure. Those were some of my thoughts.
Yeah, because we're worried that it might affect Jordan, so it could do possibly. But I think at the moment it's just affecting Superman. We'll see.
But why isn't it affecting Tao? Why would it affect Jordan and not Tao? I would think it'd affect all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, Tao could be lying, but I don't know. I don't see any of the others going down. We'll see. Because I hope they got to figure out some way to stop it from happening to him, because it's certainly crippling him and causing him to be vulnerable, and he's becoming a liability.
Yeah. National security. Yeah, we'll see that in the next episode when General Lang pops up. If you've seen the trailer.
Yeah,
no more spoilers for next week.
No, I don't watch trailers, so I try to stay pretty spoiler free in general. I did see something posted somewhere where I saw Lane was coming in. General Lane was coming in. He's not General anymore. Sam coming into so I knew he was coming back at some point. So we'll see what happens there. Any last thoughts before we do ratings?
Nope.
All right. So in 1 to 5, what's your rating, Lisa?
I'd say about 3.
I'm also a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, it was good. It wasn't great. I wasn't really pulled in emotionally to anything in particular. There were some interesting elements. The best part was definitely
The family
the
reunion
family
highlights.
reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Mm.
Between
And the
Lara.
possible hint, maybe, can we turn Talro around? His mother believes they're still good. Yeah, we'll see how that
Yeah,
goes.
so there's that. I liked that. The stuff with Tao in general. That dynamic between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the episode, I didn't, didn't do much for me.
Mm-hmm.
um. So yeah, that we'll see what happens with season 3. Hopefully, we get a little bit more once.
Episode 3, yeah.
No, hopefully, we get a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
emotions into it. Some of the stuff that we loved in season 1, because right now, season 2 isn't as good as season 1, but
It's early days, yeah. Yeah.
um
Maybe we might get to see who's actually, behind the Amatec company. Mm,
yeah, I mean there's some interesting things
yeah.
going on.
Is it going to be Lex Luthor? Yeah.
I don't know. Lex Luthor,
Mhm.
are they going to bring Lex Luthor into this? Oh, and why do they never talk about Kara? They never talk about her ever. They could at least have her on phone call and only have one side of the conversation. They could have emails going back and forth, something to acknowledge what's going on there.
Mhm.
Because it just makes you think, like, well, we know Kara exists. Doesn't Kara want to see her aunt? I mean, and how come Jonathan never gets to go to the fortress? He better get to go to the fortress because it's his grandmother too. Just because he doesn't have powers doesn't mean
Mhm.
that he doesn't have her DNA.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he does get taken to the fortress because I don't want to see any sort of like resentment building up in Jonathan that Jordan's sort of like gets all the attention from Clark. Yeah, but I think
For
he's got a really
sure.
good bond, with Lois that
Yeah.
makes up for it.
Yeah. I just
Mhm.
think that he should be able to go
Yeah.
and meet his grandparent. I mean, obviously not during the dangerous time when you have the supervillain going
Mhm.
with you, but you know, I want to see some of that. So hopefully they bring something like that into it.
Mm.
All right, so that's it. So please hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed us today, and hit the like button. And we'll talk to you next week for episode 3. Thank you for
Yes.
watching.
Thank you.